All right, it is that time again on First and Now. We welcome in our good pal Cam Tucker from BCLC and PlayNow.com. You see him on the scoreboard every home game at Save on Foods Field at BC Place, talking about some of the key lines out there to watch for. Cameron, how goes it, my friend?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. What a busy weekend. I think that for the Lions, it was really interesting to see how that market, kind of reacted last week to the Lions. They started as underdogs, go to favorites. They were, pretty big favorites, when the game started against Saskatchewan, and unfortunately don't get the result, that they wanted. And now you've got Hamilton coming in this weekend. So it's a big game, and we're looking forward to another important showdown here for the Lions.
Hamilton, four straight wins, have skyrocketed to first place in the Eastern Division. Despite that, though, and despite the fact the Lions are coming off a bit of a, well, let's be honest here, a lackluster performance, BC opening as a 3 point home favorite.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, Matt, right off the hop. That Hamilton right now is red hot. 4 wins in a row. Bo Levi Mitchell right now leads in just about every single passing category, including yards, touchdown throws. He's thrown 2 interceptions this year, and Hamilton right now they're red hot. Yeah, not only going to the top of the East Division standings, but right now they lead the league in points scored per game. And looking at the 4 games that they've won in a row, they're averaging, just under 35 points per game. So this offense right now is red hot. The Lions are going to have a difficult time. They certainly got their work cut out for them going into this matchup. But yeah, like you said, Matt, the Lions are favored by 3 points right now. We'll see if that swings. I'd imagine that might start to swing in favor of the Tiger Cats, given their recent run of form. And the over under on this game is also 55 and a half, which is pretty high. It's one of the highest totals that we've had so far this season. But looking at some of the bet trends coming into this game, Hamilton right now has had the Lions number in terms of the point spread. They're 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 matchups with the BC Lions, dating back to, I believe it was 2018. And then looking at the over 55 and a half points right now at PlayNow, these teams have gone over in their 3 previous matchups, including a 54 and a half point total last year. So there's been some wild scoring games between these teams over the years. And given how Hamilton's offense is operating right now, I mean, we could be in store for another high scoring game. So the Lions began the week 3 point favorites. My anticipation or my gut feeling is this is probably going to slide in the direction of the Hamilton Tiger Cats by the time we get to kickoff. And the total points for this game, 55 and a half. Again, that's a big number, but we've seen some pretty high scoring games between these teams in the past too.
Hey Cam, as we enter the 2 month mark of the CFL season, who's your biggest surprise so far? And you can't say the Calgary Stampeders. No, I'm kidding. It's got to be the Calgary Stampeders,
No,
right?
it's
Because
are,
nationally, that's a surprise, right? But break down the numbers for us.
Are we 2 months into the season? My goodness, time flies when you're having fun. Yeah, look, I mean the Calgary Stampeders in my eye, they have to be the surprise of the season. Nobody was giving these a chance, giving Calgary a chance at the start of the year. That includes the odds makers. The odds makers had them at plus 1,700 to win the Grey Cup. Those are the second longest odds on the board behind the Edmonton Elks. So I mean, they were written off at the start of the year, and you look at where they have, where they are in the standings now. They're 5-1. They now have the third best odds on play now to win the Grey Cup at plus 350. That's a big slide. I'm sorry, that's a big jump in the odds, to this point in the season. It is a long season, so we'll see how this goes. I mean, it might not be sustainable what they're doing, and they might, come back down to earth a little bit. But you have to look at the Calgary Stampeders as being the big surprise of the year. And I was looking at, their matchups this year, 6 games that they've played. They've been the underdog in 5 of those 6 games. They've not only covered the spread as an underdog in 5 of those games, but they've won straight up as an underdog as well. So if you've been betting on the Calgary Stampeders this year to this point in the season, you've probably made some pretty good money off of them. But they seem to be written off every week, as underdogs, and they've really come through playing some very good football. And it's not just the teams that they're beating. I mean, they're not, they played Ottawa, and that was a game where they really didn't play very good football. The weather impacted that game, but they've beaten Winnipeg, they've beaten Saskatchewan, they've beaten some very tough teams in the West Division. I mean, they are full marks for being top spot right now. And certainly working their way up the Grey Cup list in terms of the odds. So I've been very impressed by them and what they've done this season. I think they do have to be a surprise, though, given that nobody thought that they would have a good year this year. Quite a remarkable turnaround in Calgary right now.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And I should say it's the week 8 of the CFL
It's
season.
July. Okay.
But
yeah, you're right. But
2 months is approaching when we hit our bye week. It's going to be 2 months into the CFL season next week. But before we get to the bye week, we're focused on the Hamilton Tiger Cats in week 8.
yes.
Of course, Cam, PlayNow, you got your boost. What are you guys cooking up, or what are you looking at ahead of this game?
Yeah, there's a few things that we were looking at, and I was thinking, which angle could we take? You've got Nathan Rourke, you've got Bo Levi Mitchell, who are, I think two of the premier passers in this league. And, you look at what Bo Levi Mitchell has been doing this year. I mean, he's, this is MOP category stuff for him. But I think that we're going to go in a bit of a different direction here. We're going to look towards James Butler and some rushing yard milestones. We're perhaps going to parlay that with James Butler to score an anytime touchdown. He's facing his old team, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I mean, he's got to be pretty motivated going into this game. Not only motivated to face his former team, but he's the production I think has been, for lack of a better phrase, a bit hot and cold this year. Like, we've seen what he can do when you give him the ball and he's got room to run. He had 170 yards rushing against Edmonton. He had 29 carries against the Elks, which is that's a massive number. Then you go into the game against Saskatchewan, and I think a little bit of game script caught up to him because the Lions were trailing so early. So you have to kind of get away from the run game. And I'd imagine that the Lions probably would want to go back to the run game against Hamilton, make sure that offense is staying off the field on the other sideline. So my expectation is that James Butler is probably going to see a little bit more work going into this game, and so I do think that we're probably going to look his direction for a boost, and we'll see about getting some rushing yard milestones and perhaps parlaying that with a touchdown.
Yeah, the reverse James Butler revenge game, if you will. Remember 2 years ago in August, I think it was, the Tiger Cats came in here and JB had, I think, a couple hundred yards at least from scrimmage, 2 touchdowns. And when that guy has a
there you
little
go.
extra motivation, he's dangerous. So I like where you're heading here, sir.
So the James, what you're saying is the James Butler revenge game. We gotta go with this for sure. This is given his work
Absolutely.
against the Lions a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Absolutely. Excellent job as always, my friend. And we should remind you and our listeners, no show next week. The BC Lions are on a bye week, and so are we heading into week 9. So we'll be back a couple of weeks from now talking about a rematch of sorts. The Lions going to Hamilton on August 7th on Thursday night. And would be week number 10. And hopefully we're talking about a chance.
Just flying by here, guys.
Yeah, hopefully we're talking about a chance for the Lions to sweep this home and home series, if you will. Thank you, sir.